Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Ajuman. Coming up this afternoon. Education in island communities facing critical decline in the Pru East District. Also in the bulletin, we visit Kwabri East Municipality to assess government commitment to realizing key promises in early childhood education. Later in the bulletin, Roads and Highways Minister Kwame Agboja inspects critical roads in the Northeast region as part of his tour of the region. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin now. And former Finance Minister and ranking member on Parliament's Finance Committee, Mohammed Amin Adam, is calling on the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry to explain the implications of the Court of Appeal ruling restoring the license of GN savings and loans before any decision is implemented. Dr. Amin Adam says the ruling has serious implications for Ghana's financial sector, especially as the country exits its IMF-supported program. In a Facebook post, he warned against politicizing banking regulation, insisting that financial stability must be treated as a national priority rather than a political promise. According to the former finance minister, the Bank of Ghana must first explain whether it intends to appeal the ruling and also carry out a fresh prudential assessment of GN savings and loans before any restoration becomes operational. Dr. Amin Adam also wants the Finance Ministry to disclose any potential fiscal exposure arising from the ruling, including compensation obligations, depositor liabilities, and recapitalization cost. He cautioned that reopening financial sector cleanup decisions could weaken confidence in Ghana's regulatory framework and create uncertainty in the banking sector. In a related development, founder and chairman of the governing board of the Indum School of Business and Technology, Dr. Papakwesi Indum, says the defunct GN Bank will soon start operation in the coming weeks following a court ruling restoring its license. Speaking at a matriculation ceremony at the Indum School of Business and Technology, he said this will signal renewed hope for its revival after years of regulatory and legal challenges.
Some licenses in the UK that just in the past month have been restored to us. And we are looking forward to, in the next few weeks, having the GN Bank GN Savings license restored. With the court judgment that happened just this past Thursday, there are some legal procedures to go through, and then our belief is that we will get the license. And we've been preparing.
Well, let's take a trip to South Africa this afternoon because some Ghanaians there have expressed a strong desire to return home following the latest wave of xenophobic attacks. The Ghana government postponed the evacuation exercise to a later date due to technical challenges relating to screening processes and permit for the aircraft to land from the South African authorities. This caused considerable anxiety among the Ghanaians who are desperately seeking to return home. They expressed their frustrations to the Minister for Foreign Affairs during the visit to South Africa.
Yeah, me person me free krom ha because situation led me buy manya she, and I wanted to go back. I need to go back home because
we don't want to stay here. I'm sick and tired of this country. I should have been fed. Look at how I am. I have been working as a teacher in this country, not that Ghanaians are illegal, but the Home Affairs forced most of them to be illegal. Because some of them have permanent status, which has been revoked. I have them here. Some have business permit. They came with business permit. They renewed here 3 times. At the end, the other renewals, they said fraudulent. There are some Ghanaians. There was a Ghanaian lady that was knocked down by a car. I took it upon myself to claim that we have something rough, road accident fund. I pushed it to the end. I took a lawyer by myself. At the end of the payment, they said they have declined it.
Some of us outside Pretoria can't even travel by bus or their taxis, even for them to come and register their names because they are scared. Because the moment they started Marakware style, then they have to divert the taxi somewhere. So how about them? What are the safety measures towards them, if necessary?
Se se binom ye won krata wo krom ha. Ye pese ko Ghana no so bi. Ye san wo adwuma kase wo krom ha. Ye pese ko Ghana because intimidation no edoso. Police ni kura timi ba wo adwuma mo nim so obi bia ye. But obefa kwan bia so agiska through ho anase obe intimidate ma that the whole day no ude ni nyina ye basa. SSS na eba. Inti yesre papa say ono de owano okasa yetie se pa no mpese ya won krata no kra yenko yekrumu a omo kan kire ye ntokwa bia nim ye ba yamfa hwama ye betumi asen akoye chiboko se be ye na ye no omunya anototu bia eye me de nra me hu akola no a ukofa no free airport no me hu ye ne me kan ya ne say no akola no agu anim as because what the misinformation the airport ho omo afili form no wo me group no nyina omo frɛ me am se mo ntwen papa no se tam so a obek mam tam na mo nyina maba airport nti obi an kan kyerɛ na wo adi mirika na wo airport but anopa me say hu se wakofa no a wo no kasa no me kan ya ne say hallelujah papa na yi efrɛ ni nguase ni nyina mu nti me srɛw adwuma papa na wo ya ne obetio ne wontie ye de mpaibo eta wachi ye ne sa amaye na yinim say you get to Kenya.
So what we are seeing or witnessing is not something that is going to end today. Most of them have put these guys who are doing these demonstrations on a payroll, a strong one. So it's not something that is going to end today. I'm looking at a worst scenario as a business owner is in discussing with the South African counterparts if they can actually have a takeover plan of Ghanaian businesses, because at the DTI they've got a takeover regulatory panel where they will be able to give us offers so that they can take over those businesses to their local South Africans so that we can live peacefully. Because at times it's also so difficult having stayed for years running businesses and you just have to leave. And many of our staff are also leaving, and at the end of the day, how are we going to pay the rent?
I personally, I'm even ready to go back to Ghana, but because of certain situation, because my children are here, there's no way I can also leave them behind.
Refugee enya pay penisa na so ya na force say at the end of the day we be to charge ho. Ya ma campo 2000 ye engineer ma say 3 months betua na san renew eno kra ye enya ma. Na permit no so a ye nye ma. Enti ya no wo mo accuse ye say Ghana for ye pepepes ya papa medinyame din sra mo say enye no kore. Eye wo mo na wo mo ma ye nye nkrata. Na nka amfo obi hu so ba bua sika no kakra akra no de aye de a ebe ma no ho ahe ha no ne watumi atena oman ni mo.
Well, let's speak with Professor Daniel Jaman Kipo Sunyezi. He is an associate professor at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, here at the University of Ghana. Prof, thank you for your time and for talking to us this afternoon. You've listened to the issues these Ghanaians have raised and the challenges they face, even with registering or getting the appropriate documentation, and the emotions and the issues they expressed. First off, what meanings do you read into the intensity of the attacks in that country? looking at what they've said on camera this afternoon?
Thank you very much for dear viewers and listeners. I think the situation in South Africa is a very serious one. It is very serious that I believe that the government of Ghana has already expressed interest and have commenced steps to bring our citizens. This should be treated as a situation of emergency. And at this very moment, I think lives are in danger in South Africa because the manner in which the citizens of South Africa are molesting Africans, especially West African, sub-Saharan Africans. The attack is more serious in West Africa than those in the Sahel, in the SADC regions. So that is the situation. Ghana, Nigeria are the leading West African countries who are target of attack. So that is the situation we have. And the South African authority and the people have made it very clear that they do not want other Africans to live in their country. I think the people have made it clear. Even some who have permanent resident permit have been revoked. And these are people who have lived there maybe for 10 years plus, have established business, they are teachers, they are nurses, they are professionals, and living there with legal permit, and that has been revoked. So it clearly tells you that even when they say they are illegal, it tells you that the South African system is even contributing by making most of these West African citizens illegal migrants. And so that clearly tells us that the situation is an emergency. And I believe that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a certain minister have commenced the steps. We will call on them to fasten the process,
Right.
so that we get people back to them.
Prof, so we know that government says it needs some few days to be able to conduct the next evacuation exercise. While we wait for these few days, we don't know how long it's going to take, though. What measures should the Ghanaians also take to ensure that they protect themselves?
I think the Ghanaian citizens in South Africa at this very moment should find themselves, at least move to some locations that are quite safe. Avoid some of the ghettos where these rogues are all over the place. And possibly if they see some of their Ghanaian colleagues who are in safe areas, they could move in there. And especially some of the cities are just so bad. KwaZulu-Natal province is not a good area. So they need to move out of some of those dangerous areas and getting closer to Ghana's High Commission, particularly in Pretoria, where plans are made to move. And I will also think that maybe even though we have financial challenges, I think our High Commission in Pretoria and our consulate in other parts of South African cities should make some temporary arrangement to be able to get some of these stranded ones to have some temporary shelters where they can hide for safety. Because even movement in South African street itself is a threat.
Yes.
And so that is why we need to provide some temporary shelters. Now, people should also avoid some dangerous states, some dangerous ghettos, so that House government is working to resolve some of these legal and technical challenges so that they will be safe. And when government is ready and the flights are ready, they will be able to go in and get evacuated from South Africa.
So, Prof, if we have to take this to the bigger picture beyond just Ghana and South Africa, what other terms or what other measures can African countries take to address these anti-immigrant sentiments and foster the unity that we all look forward to as Africa?
I have always held the view that I think that our continental body, African Union, has been very lenient to South Africans, and I expect that the continental body should have taken drastic measures against the South African authority. The very continental unity that our forefathers fought, including Nelson Mandela, who was also a visionary looking for the unity of the continent. I don't think Mandela will be happy to see that the country that he fought for their freedom, the man which African leaders supported, including Ghana, for political liberation of South Africa, that country has now turned it back, torturing, molesting, attacking the very people who fought for their liberation. Sadly, they have overlooked the very regime that suppressed them with racial segregation, and they have turned to the vulnerable one, torturing them. And that is why I said the African Union at least could have taken measures, possibly even expelling South Africa as a member of African Union. This is a very drastic measure that would have made the president and the ministers there to know that they have gone overboard and the continent is against them. The attack is not only West Africa, even the SADC members, Zimbabwe, Malawi, are subjects of attack. And that is why African Union should have taken drastic measures against the South African leaders, at least to keep warning to other African leaders that our continental unity is still very important and we must do everything to promote internal trade, to promote free movement within our continent, because that is what we stand for.
Right, Prof, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Professor Daniel Dramani Kipos is an associate professor at the Legon Center for Diplomacy and Excellence. This is Weekend Central on TV3. Let's do some more stories now. And the Roads and Highways Minister, Kwame Agboja, is this afternoon inspecting some critical roads in the Northeast region as part of his tour of the region. The minister is expected to inspect the construction of the Wishuo-Woyema Bridge, which when completed will link 4 regions. The roads minister has been reassuring the people that President Mahama is determined to build high-quality roads to propel economic growth. Well, let's go to the region and engage our correspondent there, my colleague Christopher. Christopher, thanks for your time. Which roads has the minister visited so far, and what has he been saying? Christopher, can you hear me? Well, we're working the phone to speak to my colleague Christopher Makun, who is in the Savannah region, to talk to us about the tour by the Roads Minister Kwame Agboja and what it means to government's big push agenda as well as developmental projects in the country. Christopher, can you hear me now? Well, we know that the Roads Minister Kwame Agboja is in the region to inspect some roads, and according to him, the inspection of the roads are critical in the Northeast region as part of his tour of the region. The minister is expected to inspect the construction of the Wishuo-Woyema Bridge, which when completed will link 4 regions. The roads minister has been reassuring the people that President Mahama is determined to build high-quality roads to propel economic growth. Christopher, you can hear me now. Talk to us where the minister has been and what he's been saying. Well, we apologize. We've lost Christopher again. This is Weekend Central on TV3. Christopher, can you hear me now? Well, we apologize for that. We'll connect with Christopher and bring you the details of the tour by the Roads Minister Kwame Agboja. This afternoon, let's take you to the Fajato South District, where work has finally commenced on the Nyagbo-Agbodome-Konda Road following years of persistent appeal from residents. The 4-kilometer road has been a major headache for residents as movement and carting of foodstuff were curtailed due to the bad nature of the road.
The Nyagbo-Konda Road has for many years been a major setback to local trade and the general movement of people in and out of the community. The road, despite serving as the only link to the other part of the district, was neglected and left to deteriorate. We are struggling on this road. Sometimes even pregnant women in labor, we carry them on motorbikes up and down the hills because there is no other alternatives. No car is able to use the road due to the bad nature. Even building materials, we convey them with motorbikes. It is quite terrible for us here.
Difficulty that most of the farmers go through, cutting their produce from the top to the market centers, sometimes demoralizes them because of the nature of the road. At the peak of rainy season, even the sick or the dead, the way they are ferried to the community is such a mystery that
With the community up on the mountains, motorbikes have become the only means of transport. We had a funeral here, but because of the bad nature of the road, we had to wait at the foot of the mountain for a motorbike to bring us here. That took us for several hours. And now that we are done with the funeral, we are still waiting here for motorbike to pick us one after the other.
We would like this road to be constructed because it will help us a lot. Because of the nature of the road, we are always seeing the mechanic. Every now and then, I have to repair my engine. Sometimes, I carry more load than what you are seeing now. Because the road is bad, I can't carry more. It is affecting our work. But after years of persistent appeals, government has finally heeded the call to redevelop and construct the about 4-kilometer road. Member of Parliament for the area, Frankie Fiye, in an interview, said the decision to address the road problem aligns with government's reset agenda.
You can see the very apex of the mountain. This is John Mahama's intervention beyond the big bush that passes through the main road from Accra to Hofwe. This is part of the 10-kilometer road that His Excellency has announced that, depending on value, depending on need, will happen in some constituencies. This community, since its inception, has never seen a tar road before. And indeed, it's a strategic investment.
According to authorities in the Fajato South District, several road projects are expected to kickstart, including the construction of about 20 kilometers of feeder roads across the district. The focus is to enhance road connectivity to drive local tourism, trade, and social life.
Well, we know the roads minister is in the northeast region to also inspect some roads. Let's cross over to the region and engage my colleague Christopher Macon. Christopher, if you can hear me now, talk to us where the minister has been and what he's been saying.
Yes, so Grace, the minister has just finished inspecting one of the critical roads in the northeast region. There is a bridge construction ongoing on the White Water around Wayama in the northeast region, and so he's just going to inspect work on the bridge. The minister has been intimating that the NDC government, for that matter, the Roads Ministry, is not going to abrogate any contract that is ongoing, but to ensure that all contracts handed over by the previous administration is completed, because the NDC government is bent on ensuring that whatever intervention that will benefit the Ghanaian people, they are going to continue with it. And this bridge we're talking about is expected to open up the area to connect 4 regions. That is the Upper West, Upper East, Northeast, and Savannah regions. And so he's been giving the assurances that they are not going to relent in their efforts in developing the country when it comes to road infrastructure. Let's take a listen to what he's been saying.
You account for about 500,000. Imagine what that means to job creation. Instead of, because if you don't do this, the young people here need to come and join me and the chief executive in Accra looking for work. Meanwhile, there's opportunity to earn a better living in their own community. All they wanted us is not handouts. Create the opportunity for them to live within their own community and make a decent living. That is what President Mahama is trying to address. I want to take the opportunity to let everybody know that reset means that the old way of doing politics. Just recently, I heard some other politicians sitting at home when they had 8 years and did very little about this, started counting what they claim they have done and somebody is taking advantage of. Does this bridge look like something that was completed and somebody is taking advantage? It doesn't mean anything to us. What President Mahama is saying is that it's a reset president. It doesn't matter who started anything. What we need is to complete the things for the benefit of the people of our country. So those who abandon these things for 8 years, give us a break. Let's focus and do what the Ghanaian is expected of us. If you had your 8 years and did very little, and God willing, God has brought President Mahama back, allow him the space to fix things you couldn't fix in 8 years. He's directed that this bridge must be fixed at all costs by the end of 2027. And that is our marching order, and that is what is going to happen. So we want to encourage the contractors, whatever outstandings you have on this project, through Ghana Highway Authority, let us have, if there's anything left which is unpaid. And now that you have remobilized your site, please don't move until we finish this. I know in a few weeks' time, the president himself is going to be here to see what you have done. And from what I'm hearing, you might be almost completing the launching of the steel part before he comes here. And let that be our commitment. We believe this bridge actually expresses what Big Push means. Big Push is not about just building roads for the sake of it. It's about unlocking the potentials trapped in various parts of the country. Yes, it may look like a bridge.
Roads Minister Gavin Kwame Agboja there. Earlier, you heard my colleague in the Northeast region, Christopher Mwakun. Let's move away from the roads and talk about education, because the 2024 NDC manifesto promised to initiate a policy to integrate early childhood education into basic education supported by appropriate infrastructure. After 1 year in office, the news team visited the Kwabri East municipality to assess the government's commitment to realizing a key promise made to the Ghanaian people.
Improving the quality of education, among all other reforms, is also anchored on modern infrastructure. At the district level, the realization of the educational infrastructure policy by the central government is infused in the local assemblies' developmental plans and strategies. After 1 year in office, the news team went to the Kwabri East municipality, which has the largest voter population in the Ashanti region, to assess the realization of the president's earlier promise. Here at Abuaso, a 12-unit classroom legacy project for the Holy Quran Islamic School is at completion stage. A KG block and storeroom is also nearing completion.
Community like since Kwabri East came, one may say that since the inception of Kwabri East, or since Kwabri East came, hasn't been a school in that area before. All of us know, and since I think you've gone around, you notice it. There's no school around the area, because I only have 2 communities in Kwabri East that don't have a school. We have Samai and that of And so now, as I speak with you, because as people of school-going age, sometimes if you don't have a car that you can take them to a nearby community, they cannot go to school. We started tackling the KG people.
A 6-unit classroom block for the Ebira RC Primary B has reached roofing level. Other social intervention projects are also being raised under a year. Among the key targets of the Sustainable Development Goals 4 is the guarantee access to quality pre-primary education and early childhood development. To the MCE, extending education to every community is one of its priority areas.
And education in island communities is facing a critical decline as child labor in fishing, severe poverty and infrastructure deficits are pushing classroom attendance to its lowest levels over time. My colleague Belinda Tete visited some island communities in the Pru East district and filed this report.
Visit to Parambo number 1 in Siano DA Primary School paints a stark reality.
This is a fishing community, and to only rely on this facility for education is quite alarming. This room is being shared by Primary 1, Primary 2, Primary 3, and there's one other facility just right behind here, which is also a 3-room school building, which is also shared by Primary 4 and Primary 5 and Primary 6. And so right after Primary 6, the students here will have to go to the next community or the neighboring communities to access junior high school.
As the only government-owned school facility in the area, it hasn't received any form of renovation or facelift in 40 years. This, authorities say, is one of the reasons why children lack interest in education. The school's headmaster noted that all efforts to keep children engaged in formal education have proven futile, as children are drawn into local fishing industry instead. We have given conditions to the parents that before you take the child to the sea, make sure you bring the child back early, to attend school. Even when they return late, they should urge the children to come to school. But all our efforts have proven futile. Sometimes we go about chasing the children to come to school, but then they see us and they run away. The assembly member for the area stated that a complete lack of diverse job opportunities for adults forces families to rely heavily on child labor. We plead with government to invest in creating jobs in this area. If there were other job opportunities, parents would not be forced to only stick to fishing, whereby they will still have to force their kids to fish with them. At Deklai Community DA Primary School, a visit on a Monday, which coincided with the local market day, revealed that less than half of the student population was present. School authorities confirm that this absenteeism has become a norm.
On market days, which is Monday, we get less than half the population of the school. Because most of them don't come to school on Mondays, sometimes looking at the number that report, you would have to repeat a lesson that was taught. And the next day when they come. And it eats into instructional hours, which sometimes, if not through the teacher's own interventions, we may not be able to finish the curriculum.
Speaking to some inland fisher folks who did not deny the claims, but argued that the inconsistent supply of government-subsidized premixed fuel paralyzes their regular fishing expeditions, driving up operational costs. They added that this situation forces them to rely on children as free labor in order to break even. Government promised to assist us with premixed fuels to make our job easier, but it doesn't come consistently. And so if I realize that the job is too much for me to handle, the only option I have is to engage the children to help me. And so we'll plead with government to give us consistent supply of premixed fuel, because the demand for the fuel is higher than the supply, and that is why we are facing all these challenges. While local authorities insist that they are actively fighting child labor, they admit that their interventions have yielded no significant results.
The first attempt that we made to try as much as possible to curb that situation is to make sure that those communities around, maybe by the riverside, are given this school feeding program. Yes, because apart from even fishing, when those who don't have this school feeding program, when it is break and they go back home to eat, they don't come back again. Not only on even market days, and we have also engaged the parents on countless occasions, trying to educate them, to let them know the essence of, at least maybe especially when a child misses Monday as a school day.
Child labor there last year, your sentence will be 7 years with them.
Last year, someone was sentenced to 7 years in prison, and so in our own ways, we are trying to put an end to it, but our efforts are not enough. The educational crisis in inland communities directly undermines Ghana's commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, creating a domino effect across multiple global targets. This includes SDG 4, quality education, SDG 1, no poverty, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth by 2030, all of which demand immediate measures to eradicate all forms of child labor. Without consistent efforts to enforce child protection laws, many children in Ghana's inland communities will continue to be pulled out of school to help their families in fishing activities. This ongoing use of children as cheap labor in fishing threatens their education and leaves their future uncertain. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Yeji, Pro East District, Bono East Region.
This is Weekend Central on TV3. We have more stories after this break. Stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. No more endless worry because of malaria. Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena mi ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra mienu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba
head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me ko ye no me Jones sema na enkoyie person na my nyina na magina sabema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
For nearly 2 decades, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated culture and grace. Now it's time to champion real change in your community. The GMB Legacy Project is looking for the next groundbreaking community initiative. We want to hear from changemakers across all 16 regions. Do you know a community, group of people, individual, town, or place in need of a life-changing or life-saving project or opportunity? Share the details with us by sending an email or video to gmb20@mediageneralgh.com. For enquiries, call 0207 619 766.
On TV3, a new research by a principal investigator of the York St. John University in the United Kingdom, in collaboration with local researchers, has identified what is arguably the superior craving of pregnant women, choline or bentonite clay, popularly called ayelo or chile, as harmful to maternal and fetal health. In the following report, George Quainin explores the effect of ayelo consumption and the viability of the old age trade amid these growing health concerns.
The Ghanaians call it ayelo, the Akans chile. The consumption of white clay or kaolin or bentonite clay is a deeply rooted Ghanaian practice. The clay is sourced, double smoked, and sold in major local hubs like the Kaneshi market. Here at the Kaneshi market, you can locate 59-year-old Auntie Lauricia Sapon. She has known no other trade aside the sale of ayelo. Her customer base is heavily made up of pregnant women. She brags of selling ayelo for more than 3 decades and counting.
I'll
be quitting soon due to how people badmouth ayelo. If it is not good, God will not have created it.
She touts the potency of ayelo and its enormous benefits.
Ayelo is eatable, but it has to be in moderation. Eat and drink water after eating it. There are those who eat in abundance, but I don't entertain them.
Whilst engaging Auntie Lauricia, this young man passed by to buy some of her ayelo. The news team was curious to know what influenced his decision, but he was quick to tell us that he was sent. The news team followed him to the person who sharply refused to engage us, and so we returned to Auntie Laurentia's shed.
The bad comments compel people to hide and eat Ailo. We are made of earth, and so is Ailo. That is why she is hiding her identity.
Bentonite clay, until recently, has been proven to be harmful to mothers and unborn babies. A new research has debunked the notion of Ailo giving babies smooth skin. There is currently lack of published studies specifically examining the effects of Ailo consumption on unborn babies, making the new research novel as it contributes new evidence to another research area regarding maternal dietary exposure and fetal health outcomes. The study, involving 117 pregnant women attending 2 public hospitals, found that approximately 1 in 4 women, which is 26.5%, reported consuming Ailo during pregnancy.
Realize that in pregnancy, those who consume, we found some key parameters of this fetal growth to be reduced compared to those who didn't consume. And this basically the head circumference, which is measured when a child is born. So this is more like a surrogate marker to determine the brain size of a child. And then the abdominal circumference as well was reduced, and then the female length was also reduced.
So how can you be consuming something and you think you are okay, but you're not okay? Even the effect of having low HB, iron deficiency. Imagine that a pregnant woman who goes to antenatal and is told that you have iron deficiency, okay, and you are given an iron supplement to take just to try to increase your blood level. Then behind the scene, you are still eating chile or Ailo, meaning that work done is zero.
Ascertaining the viability of the old age trade took the news team to the Malata market in Accra.
Long guy 20 cities.
Just point. Let me give up here. Just have to put stuff on this side.
So I'm here at the Malata market in Accra, and I'm spending a day in the life of Auntie Charity. When you come here, she's popularly referred to as Ailoto, meaning Ailo seller. And she tells me that when she had stroke, she cured it with Ailo, but she also went to the hospital. And she tells me that the health benefits of Ailo are enormous, and so we'd want to engage her further right here.
We be. Just 30 minutes.
If you have tummy or headache, just chew Ailo or apply Ailo in water, and it works like magic. It heals all kinds of pains. My brother got healed at a point in time.
Ailoto recounts several occasions where she wants buyers to moderate its consumption if they bought more than necessary.
Sister been so bad dance or oxa one or we are on tiny baby.
We should not talk down on Ailo. The health benefits are enormous, and so we must protect Ailo at all costs.
But there are mixed feelings among the general public.
Many more a domicon, but I mean, say,
I have not eaten Ailo before. I craved it when I was pregnant. So the best thing we did was that during sunny days, we poured water on the earth, and the smell alone was enough.
I
don't buy it myself, but I send children. I craved for it when I had my last child. The craving ceased at an early stage because I knew it was bad, but there are others who are addicted to it.
Medical doctor at the Ridge Hospital, Dr. Abigail Boatin, is advising heavy consumers to seek medical attention.
During labor and whether vaginal delivery or via cesarean section, you lose blood. So imagine you already have low levels of blood and you are going to lose blood. It will increase your risk of getting blood transfusion, and even in very severe cases and lose such a mother. So physically, some women have noted that their skin became paler, become white, and become smooth. But those are just the aesthetics. But beneath the skin, there are lots of things that may be happening to the baby that you may not see with your eye.
The research may do its part by outlining the dangers of ILO to the general public, but beyond that, the cravings of consumers, particularly pregnant women, is where lies a major factor in realizing the reduction of its consumption due to its health effects. George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra.
Here in the studio, my name is Grace Hamo-Ajuman. Let's do some more stories. The worsening Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is once again forcing Africa to confront painful memories of one of the continent's deadliest health crises. Nearly 750 suspected cases and at least 177 deaths have now been recorded, raising renewed concerns over preparedness, surveillance, and how quickly countries can respond if the virus spreads further. But for one Ghanaian infectious disease specialist who joined the country's 2014 mission to Sierra Leone, the current outbreak is more than just another health emergency. It is a reminder of lessons Africa cannot afford to ignore. Sarah Safua Buahini reports.
In 2010 to Goma in 2012, then the devastating West African outbreak that peaked in 2013 and 2014. Ebola has repeatedly tested Africa's health systems, and now DR Congo is once again at the center of concern. The World Health Organization (WHO) has already declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern as cases and deaths continue to rise. In 2014, Ghana became a key support center for countries battling Ebola in West Africa. The country trained 54 participants from 6 African countries as part of efforts to strengthen response systems across the region. The infectious disease specialist Augustine Isego was among Ghanaian health workers deployed to Sierra Leone during the crisis, a mission he says exposed them not only to the dangers of the virus, but also the emotional and psychological toll that came with it.
Getting to our last days, we had one old man who died in our center. That's PTS2. My center was called PTS2. But I was the lead. We had the community with cutlasses, guns, and all that. And they came. What was their problem? Their problem was that old man that is dead, he has an antiquated ring, which by them, that ring should go to their successor. But per our records, whatever went into the red zone should never come out. It came up rapidly that you, the community, give us 3 people. I volunteer my 3 personnel. They sat down. I put 3 buckets in front of them. The buckets contain high concentration, a little bit lower concentration, and then the lower concentration of chlorine solution. So I went in to pick that ring. But doing that, the ring was not removing because the ring has been there for long. And you know when person dies, the body increases the size. So it was difficult. I had to amputate that. When I saw that it was clean enough and I wanted to give it to them, their leader said that if I say that it is clean, I should wear it first. I had to wear it. But when I went to my hotel, I couldn't close my eyes the whole night. On top, I had to see a psychiatrist for psychosocial support. Upon all that, when we came in, my colleagues, they were not into that, so they started stigmatizing us. Up to the point that my daughters were sacked from school. So the stigma moved from me to my daughters.
More than a decade later, he says many of the lessons from 2014 still remain relevant today. According to him, Ghana has the manpower and technical capacity to respond, but preparedness efforts must continue to improve through constant training and stronger support systems.
In Ghana, yes, we have prepared. We have prepared the teams. However, we need to consolidate with input So if it comes to the manpower we have. However, we need to be conscious of manpower does not work alone. They work with input. That is where maybe our challenge may be. But I think the powers that be, by this knowledge of transportation, that we don't know when somebody may move, and now people may move from Congo to Ghana within 2 hours. They are in Ghana. So by this, I think we are in preparedness mode.
Questions are also beginning to emerge over DR Congo's participation in the 2026 FIFA World Cup despite quarantine measures already underway in the United States, but the specialist believes science should guide decisions.
Every day they are being checked, and they check who comes in, who goes out. With these measures in place, they are free to go and play. It's science. So they should believe in science. I've gone to all these places, all these episodes, but none of my team member has contracted. It's not a magic. I live with IPC, Infection Prevention and Control. That is the order of the day when you talk of science. And when you talk of infectious diseases like Ebola, you must be always thinking about science. If I do this, will I get any contamination? That is science.
For health workers who witnessed the 2014 Ebola crisis firsthand, the current outbreak is another warning that surveillance, preparedness, and public awareness must remain constant, even when there are no confirmed cases at home. Safa Boyni, TV3 News.
And on a rather sad note, popular Ghanaian actress and media personality Beverly Afaglo has reportedly passed away, throwing Ghana's entertainment industry into mourning. News of her death surfaced on Sunday, May 24, 2026, after her husband, musician Kwamaster, shared an emotional tribute on social media, confirming the heartbreaking loss. According to reports, Beverly Afaglo died just 4 days before her 43rd birthday. Well, it has thrown everybody into a state of mourning, and may her soul rest in peace. For the family, husband, and people who are so close to her, we wish them all the best, and our condolences to all those who have been affected. But that's how we wrap up Weekend Central on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwajiman. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Giovanni.
Yes.
He looks elegant and handsome.
He's so calm how he talks.
Thank
It's not
you.
so romantic. It's looking good. He's 10 over 10 minus nothing. Where do you have a speckle?
Sir.
Yeah. My ID inside. Don't mind them.
Okay.
All right. I love you, baby. I don't know. I think I'm falling for him more.
Hey! Date Rush shows every Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Enapa Foods, Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil. Obuasi Bitters, Numna Wumwankasa.
Gold Board Jewelry.
My Life Insurance.
Republic Bank, Lady Fort.
Jojo Carbonated Vodka Mix.
For nearly 2 decades, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated culture and grace. Now, it's time to champion real change in your community.